Oh, hello. Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back. International break. Not for us, too. We don't do that. That's for poor. Here, some games to talk about. We weren't going to do this show, then we ended up doing this show. Of course we do. We are always here. Let me know if you can see and hear us okay. How are we, Jake?
I feel like I'm seeing your face a little bit too much this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday. Yes, mate, I'm good. I've had a lovely day. I have been for a roast with my mum and her side of the family, and to see my sister. It was her birthday on Friday, so she was 24 on Friday. So I went and had a nice roast dinner with her. Had a nice crumble, lovely bit of squirrel. If you get the reference, you get the reference. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I feel recharged. I'm ready to go ahead of next week. Yeah, and obviously you're coming to the Shire next week, hopefully. So
hopefully, all being well.
So yeah, fingers crossed. I do want to say get well soon to your mother as well, because yes. I know she is in hospital and she's very supportive of you, but I do know she's going through the ring at the moment. So Jill, I know you're watching. I can see you in the comments. I hope you are feeling better soon, and I hope we get you home sooner rather than later.
Hang on, I've left the oven off.
Hang on, he's let the cats out.
Again, no. Just imagine now in hospital going, oh, no. Everything's all good here. Yeah, saw Jake yesterday. Good game. No, it wasn't a good game. Let's be honest. It was a
rubbish game of football for 3-2, wasn't it? It was the most horrific 3-2 I've ever seen.
The standard was horrific. I just said to Jake, I went, can you just watch this? I went, now when David said I'm being over dramatic and I'm watching this, I'm going, this isn't reflecting on the points tally. I'm like, I'm seeing concerns here. And look, we're getting wins, yeah, but I just think that there's issues. But no, so it is a good win. But all that needs to be said is, makes me sway. Leyton is running down the way, scoring goals, make the Fleetwood sing.
Oh, but Deb, that's a good point, actually. It's the first time we were together and we saw a win for the team that we were supporting.
Oh, my God.
We broke the curse.
Hang on. No, Colchester drew, didn't they?
Yeah, Colchester drew. Lincoln drew away at Huddersfield. We've never
no, because I was in the Lincoln end when you beat us 2-1 when Scully scored. Go on the ends. Yeah. Right, if you could leave a like on the stream, obviously it's going to be a quieter one tonight. So all likes and all comments are appreciated, like you wouldn't believe. Let's come to the chat. Hello, Sue. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Hello, good to see you. Hello, Parmex.
Oh, what a surprise those two are here, eh?
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Yeah. Can I say, just saying, won this weekend, didn't win this weekend. Just saying, if we're going to have a go.
Didn't play, mate.
But tonight is going to be a League One power hour. We'll be here through till 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, yes. Yeah, you're a bit surprised at that, Jake, aren't you? We've got I was going to do a 45 minute, but I thought, no. League One power hour. Let's go. Miracles do happen. Hello, Chris. Thank you for joining. Hope you appreciate it. Me and Jake did also record a membership video. It was out today. Another membership video later in the week. So we're at 47 members. Just press join on whatever device you are on. Help us get along to 50 members. We're 3 members away, and it'd be great to see you all over there. £1.99 a month, extra content. Let's start off. Leyton Orient 4, Doncaster 0, Jake. And Leyton Orient, they are the gift that keeps on giving. You don't know what you're going to get out of them. Last week, they lost 4-3, and then this week they won 4-0. The 12 games in, they've won 4, they've only lost 6. They've scored 20, conceded 22, 14 points. They've lost the previous 3, and come back with this excellent 4-0 victory. Ballard, hat-trick. Connolly adding 1. And it was a good performance. Again, the metric last week was good. They're a front-footed attacking footballing side. 6 shots on target to 5. They got in Doncaster's faces. And what I liked about them, they dominated the game yesterday without having the ball. And that is what Leyton Orient, I think, have been all about since arriving in this division. And Doncaster now have failed to win any of their last 5 league games, and they've lost 4 of those. They last enjoyed a run like this in December 2023. And it was Doncaster's 4-0 defeat yesterday was the first time in 76 league matches that the South Yorkshire side have lost by a 4-goal margin since a 5-1 defeat at home to Stockport County. There you are. And Dan Ballard yesterday with that hat-trick, he feels like he's doing a League One tour. Blackpool.
And Ballard, did you say? He plays for Sunderland, mate.
Dom.
Yeah,
Dom. All right. I'll be Dom. You can be the other one.
What, Aaron Connolly?
No, there's a partnership. One's called Dom. The other one's another word beginning with D. Yeah, good 4 letters. I'll let you do the imagination.
Yeah.
Right, spark grace. Reading, Blackpool, Cambridge, and a hat-trick yesterday. He became the first player to score a hat-trick for Leyton Orient since 18-year-old Josh Caroma against Newport County in 2017. Great win for the O's. Southern accent, please remember. North East South.
Yes, of course. Yes, brilliant. Toot toot, cheerio, free hit Cheerios for Leyton Orient. Yes, it's been a bit of a hectic week for Leyton Orient, hasn't it? Obviously, we can talk about the game, but it's been a bit of a week where it's been dictated heavily by rumours. I think also with the news about Richie Wellens and Luton Town, obviously. Quite heavy. The betting was suspended for him to make the move to Luton. And you kind of, that performance to me sort of just emphasised, like you say, everything that they're about, but also how much Richie Wellens is still in love with or wanting to lead the Leyton Orient project at this minute in time. Like we say, it's been turbulent. They've not known what's going on with Richie, but to have that, I think it feels like it's almost settled down a little bit now that now we've got to Sunday night where it sounds like Luton are approaching other targets. It feels like Richie Wellens is going to be at Orient certainly for the foreseeable until someone else comes along and maybe shows a bit of interest. But yeah, I thought they were brilliant. Don Ballard has been outstanding, and he's had some iffy loan spells. Ben, like you say, with Cambridge, he didn't play a huge amount. With Reading and at Blackpool, he wasn't maybe first choice. But the difference is he's at Orient on a permanent contract. He's got 2 or 3 years minimum as a contract to feel at home, and I feel that helps young players. He knows the league. He's been out before. We say it about second-time loans, don't we? When they go out for the first loan, they're not great. And Don Ballard's found a home at Orient next to Connolly, who is quality above this level, but just for some reason, injuries, attitude, whatever it is, has not just clicked for him at levels above. Because when we saw him in the Premier League, when he burst onto the scene for Brighton, how good of a player he can be. So, yeah, a very good win for Leyton Orient. They've got a couple of games now, like Parmex says. Admittedly, I think he's underestimating one game on the 25th of October, which I wouldn't do if I were you, just saying. But yeah, they feel like they've got a chance. I know you said they've only lost 6 games, but that's still half of the games that they've played that they've lost.
But again, I always judge it that they've had to rebuild a squad, and they're not going to lose 7 or 8. They've still won. If they've maybe drawn 2 or 3 of their losses, yes, I get it. They've lost a lot of games. I think with Leyton Orient, if you look through the games that they've lost, they've been in a lot of them. I think Leyton Orient, they've been in games. They've just a bit of naivety, and the Stevenage game, conceding goal after goal, and that's what they're not about. The Northampton game, again, Northampton went to their patch and dominated them, but they beat Plymouth and they got a point against Stockport at home, but they lose, again, just when you least expect it. And then against Reading by the odd goal, but beat Port Vale. And the Stevenage game was 3-2. But again, with Leyton Orient, they are that better top 10 side, I think. That they do remind me of a bit like you go out to a club and some weeks you pull an absolute worldie and you play unbelievable. And, you think, Jesus, what a night. And then that was yesterday. And some weeks you go out and it's flat and you don't feel up for it, and you come home empty-handed and you kind of feel like, it's not great. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Leyton Orient are all about. And on your half, you'll know me when Leyton Orient are losing, Jake. That's kind of your mantra. No, it's a.
Can we have a conversation about Doncaster? Because I'm a little bit concerned.
Absolutely. I want to get on to them because for me, when they were doing well at the start of the season, they were pretty much scoring with every shot on target. And I felt that they were carrying on the momentum that they brought into this division because they were flying. They won the league. They were absolutely on fire and they were better than anyone else. And it almost felt up until 4 games ago it was Port Vale's league. And then Doncaster came out of absolute nowhere that last 8-9 games and were phenomenal. And Doncaster were winning games of football, but in what style? And I put my unpopular opinion, and I got absolute pelters from certain people, but they're basically saying that I don't think Doncaster are sustainable, and I think that they'll slip away to mid-table. You go through their victories, for example. Okay, they won against Exeter 1-0. That was an 18th-minute Luke Molyneux penalty. Okay, 2-1 at Mansfield. They won. However, they had 2 shots on target, scored 2 goals. They had a great win in the cup. Don't get me 1-1 against Wycombe, and it almost felt that like they scored with their only shot on target, which they did. Against Huddersfield, they lost 2-0. Port Vale, they won 1-0, scored with their only shot on target. They beat Rotherham 1-0 at home. They had a lot of possession, but they didn't do much with it against a poor Rotherham side at that moment in time. Into September, they beat Bradford. That was an absolutely outstanding performance, and they limited Bradford. You have a good day. Then, that was the start of the bad run against Wigan. Pathetic 3-0. Wimbledon at home was the catalyst that showed everything. Owen Bailey with the goal. Who's going to score if Owen Bailey doesn't score? I don't see pedigree. I don't see flair. And I don't.
Striker, have they? They've not got a good enough striker in.
They've got Luke Molyneux. They've got Gibson. Gibson got relegated at this level 2 years ago. Billy Sharp's 30, 37, 30. Luke Molyneux hasn't really impressed me.
With Luke Molyneux, Ben, do you not? There's a lot of hype with Luke Molyneux.
Yeah, he's not come in and done this. He's not come in and really hit the ground running at this level. Let's be honest about it.
People thought he was going to.
But last year in League Two, I thought he was one of the best players in the division on certain games. Right. Yeah. So if you had over a 10-game period, in 3 of them, he would go and get a goal and assist. And you think, oh, I tell you what, he's got good. But then he won't go and do anything for 3 games. He goes missing, and big game players don't go missing. There's a certain player in this league that they call big game. Big goal, really? Big goal, really? And then at Luton.
Hopefully not.
The one thing that at Luton away, Grant McCann, I want to manage in the Championship. That almost told me he didn't think Doncaster were at his level anymore. He just thought, this is maybe a middle-of-the-road League One squad, which it is. Let's be honest about it. The signings that they made, I thought, was middle. But it's Doncaster staying in the division is a good year for them after last time. And then you go and you look into October, 1-1 to Burton flat. And yesterday, they created opportunities, but they're very passive. And they don't really sparkle me at all. And, with other sides, you've got a bit of fizz about them. They're very much they're like a can of Coke that you put Mentos in. That's what I'd say, Doncaster. They've taken all the fizz out of it and all the.
You mean after the massive explosion?
Yeah, they've had their explosion. Yeah,
right.
Good. Well done. Good lad, setting me up. You see, assist. There you are. Not for the first time, mate.
Feel like Chet Evans, eh? Feel like Chet Evans.
Yeah. Trilogy Nightclub.
Yeah. The expected snog was unbelievable, mate. From that assist.
What would you say?
Yeah, I agree with you on Doncaster completely. You've mentioned it there about the stats. I didn't know it was quite that damning in terms of scoring with their only shots on target in those games. But I think it comes down to a little bit of a mixture of, their attackers were in a rich vein of form, but then I don't look at their front line and think they're all League One good League One standard. Luke Molyneux's untested at this level. Brandon Hanlon's been okay over the last couple of years at Wycombe. Probably his last spell came for Bristol Rovers when he was in League One. Sorry, Bristol Rovers, who, by the way... 4-0. Remember who they lost 4-0 at home to last season?
Go on.
Wigan Athletic, 4-0. Do you remember? That's for you, Charlie. But yeah, I think they didn't replace Rob. I think it was going to be difficult for them to do so. Middleton looks at a decent player, but hasn't really lit up the league yet. So yeah, I don't know with them. They play good football, but I do think when they come up against better teams that want to stifle them, and teams are able to stifle them, they're going to struggle. I expect Doncaster to finish anywhere from 16th to, probably around 16th is the area I'm really talking about. 13th down to maybe
Would
maybe
that be
down as low
difficult
as
for
18th.
Doncaster, do you think? I know they started well and expectations
I think it'll be a
rose,
good season. Yeah, I think they'll be similar to Mansfield last year. Remember how
yeah,
Mansfield hit
started
it
well
off
and
really well, and then I think Donny will go on a really poor run, and they'll end up, causing themselves a bit of damage. But yeah, I don't know with Donny. I am a little bit worried because these players who are a lot of Donny fans, and I speak to one pretty regularly, was pretty big on like Jay McGrath, Luke Molyneux, Owen Bailey, who has lived up to the hype. A lot of these players that I'm talking about, Maxwell, the right back, Jamie Sterry, Lo Tatala, not really been impressed with these lot at League One level yet. So I think there's a lot of work to go. But yeah, I agree with Grant McCann, very good manager. Whether he's now thinking, am I best jumping ship so that I can reach my personal ambitions? I don't know. Is Grant McCann going to get a job at a club better than Doncaster that have a chance of getting into the playoffs? I don't know. So
if Grant McCann gets one before Richie Wellens, that sums everything up wrong with football.
correct.
For me. That I could tell you 3 or 4 managers that I put in line for a championship job in League One before Grant McCann, if I'm honest with you.
3 or 4 at least.
Yeah, at least. But
At least.
some of those even above. I think that he's done well with Doncaster, but Doncaster should be favoured at League Two. Let's be honest, they've got a decent crowd and they've got a decent budget and good players to thrive, good stadium, good facilities. Now, there's only one game we can go to next. What a game between two sides that, there's been a huge turnover. Oh, my light's gone off. I better hang on a minute. Stockport Blackpool. There we are. David, get off the way. Jake, start us off while I sort my lighting out.
Stockport Blackpool. Oh God, what's going on over here? Stockport Blackpool. Yeah, I mean, I listened to the reaction to this on BBC Lancashire on my drive home yesterday. Stephen Dobbie sounded heartbroken. He said there was a couple of injury concerns as well. Hey,
good though, was it? Because there's no Phil or Nappers.
Yeah, it was rubbish. Yeah, it was crap. Hayden Coulson looks like he's broke his arm. Dale Taylor's out for a significant period of time, which is going to add to the injuries that they've already got. But yeah, I thought Stockport were decent. I didn't think they were scintillating, but that does show that I think Stockport are getting back to the Stockport of old, where they didn't have to be gear 4 or 5 to win games convincingly at this level last season. They were very good, and I thought they were able to do that yesterday. Out of not really in first or second gear, they had opportunities, but I didn't think Stockport were great. They got the goal when they did. A really nice goal from Joe Olowu. They had the chances, but a really good win for them without really breaking too much stride. Blackpool, Ben, worried big time for Blackpool. I was expecting a reaction when Steve Bruce was sacked from this group of players who, by the end of Steve Bruce's reign, were not playing for him whatsoever.
No.
I think I was expecting a reaction. Dobby is we've spoken about those sorts of managers. Put your arm around the shoulder. Matt Hamshaw is one of them. Those sorts of people. I thought they'd play well, but I thought they were really tepid. I thought going forward they were really poor. A real lack of decision making yesterday. And I think that's just been the case for Blackpool all season, hasn't it? Despite the individual quality that they've got, they really lack the basics of a really good of a team, don't they? You look at Stevenage, individual for individual. Stevenage, sorry, yeah. Individual for individual. If you're doing 11, you probably pick 9 Blackpool players over the Stevenage players, but together, Stevenage are a way better team, and therefore you get better results when you're playing in a good team. And Blackpool are all individual quality, and unfortunately, it's going to be quite the job for the new man that comes in to rectify that. But take nothing away from Stockport, they definitely feel like they are back. They're now into the playoff spots, aren't they? They rose above us yesterday, I noticed. I feel like Stockport are slowly but surely creeping back to their very best.
Blackpool are just... What point do you start worrying about them? Because this is 12 games now. That this was over 4 or 5 games, you could understand, and maybe even 7 or 8. But now we are over a quarter of the way through this League One season, and they've won 2 games, both at home and both in games where I don't think they've been. They dug it out against Huddersfield and they dug it out, found a way against Barnsley, right? Unluckily, they can't play Yorkshire clubs every week, right? But it's just one of those with them. I just feel that. Again, the flat. They're putting a formation in. It doesn't suit them. 4-4-2. They've got lots of attacking quality. And obviously, I know Energy's out for 2 months, which is a huge loss. but it feels like they lose a structure. I think they need a 3-man midfield. I feel like they were midfielders short in January last year, and January in the summer this year. And the recruitment was very hit or bust. Now, Sadler's recruitment over his, he has spent money. He has got a lot of money back into the football club. You look at the squad yesterday then, right, that played against Stockport for Blackpool. Rivezzoli in goal, your backup goalkeeper. Lyons and Coulson, are they top fullbacks? In my opinion, no. Hickway and Casey. I think Casey was outstanding last year. He's he struggled this year. I'll be honest, he struggled this year. Hickway is okay. He's solid. I don't think he was at the level he once was, if I'm honest.
He was very good for Wednesday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Very good.
Bowler is miles off it. Josh Bowler,
he's been asked to defend too much, Ben, in mind. Yeah. He's worried about what's going backwards. Josh Bowler, and they said this on the radio, so it's not my point, and fair play.
Can I just put in there, and I agree with you, that comes into formation, doesn't it? You think that in a 4-4-2, I think 4-4-2 is Burnley, Sean Dyche, Premier League, or 4-4-1-1, right? Well, yeah, but Forest under Clough, right? Your wingers, right, in a 4-4-2 into a 4-3-3 are different, right? You want your fullbacks, right, to basically just defend. Your wingers need to help support your fullbacks and help cover midfield. That then leaves overlaps and gaps. If you are playing a midfield 3, your wingers, their job should be you stay out as high as wide as you can, spread the pitch, get out wide, get balls into the box. For me, Blackpool are overcomplicating the 4-4-2. If I were in there now as manager, obviously first thing I'd get them relegated. No, I wouldn't. I'd get the wing. I'd say wingers, what's your job? I went all I want you to do is fullbacks, you defend. You'd have 2 midfielders with 1 sitting in front, supporting the front 3, being busy in behind, getting the ball out wide. Wide plays. All I want you to do, support the front man, get crosses into the box, only come back so far, but I want you to get out wide. In a 4-4-2, Josh Bowler, right, isn't a left midfielder, right? CJ Hamilton is a wing back, apparently, but he's not. He's been playing. He's more of a right wing back, / right midfielder than Bowler on the other side. And they're trying to sort this flexibility out, but it doesn't work. For me, both of them will be more suited. They're basically playing 4-2-4 and they're being overloaded. And those wingers aren't playing the strengths. You're losing 2 men there. Evans and Morgan, for me, Evans, he got a lot of he had all the most chances created in the league at one point last year. For me, honestly, I've never seen the hype.
Mate. Lack of legs.
I've never, ever seen the hype in Lee Evans, I'll be honest with you. Albie Morgan will try his best. And you look at the bench, there is quality in there, but again, I don't think there's too much. John Brown on the bench, I think that he's one of those players that the fans like, he works hard, but he's not great at everything. And I think this is a formation issue, a tactical issue. Dobby's a club legend there, and Blackpool have got a history of going for people that have played for them before. Charlie Adams not the answer. He's played for them before. Ian Evatt, would he want back? He was a great player in the past. Talking Liam Richardson, well, he used to play for Blackpool, a long time ago, like 20-odd years ago. But really, is he the right answer? I'm not sure. But again, this Blackpool side just look flat and out of ideas. And I'll get on to Stockport in a minute, but Blackpool look out of ideas.
I'll tell you what it is, Ben, with that midfield. Alvin Morgan has got to run the legs of the distance of 2 players because Lee Evans, as good as maybe a good midfielder is he technically when from dead ball situations or 40, 30 yards away from goal. I think Alvin Morgan he looks worse because he's purely just doing the work of 2 people, and by the time he gets, we saw Alvin Morgan last year with Sonny Carey as a sort of 2 attacking number 8, go and crash the box. And he scored quite a few goals last year and he played really well. He had a good season last year, Alvin Morgan, admittedly, right? But he's having to cover for Lee Evans so much and defend. And you don't see that creative outlook that Alvin Morgan is. You're not then seeing the best of the wide players because they're not being fed the ball. Because the game is won and lost in midfield. If you're not using your midfield, you're going long. You're playing long into people like Ashley Fletcher, who then have to pass the ball out to the winger, then turn around and run 40 yards, get in the box and try and win a header. against people like Alowu and centre halves like that. It just ain't going to happen. So,
No.
for me, fundamental change needs to happen at Blackpool. They need a new identity. Because for me, Ben, I look at them, I feel like they maybe need a little bit more of a new identity. Like I feel like they need to stick to the strengths, and they need to go completely away from what they've been doing. Get the ball out wide,
not working,
and cross the ball in. But you've got to be physical in this league. You've got to be nasty. You've got to have that streak about you. All teams that get promoted have a nasty streak. Go and rough people up.
Yeah, I look at it and I want a bit of nounce about them. You know what I mean? For me, look, Blackpool, the two sides geographically next to each other on a map. But it suits this channel, Blackpool, doing better, and I like talking, about every team in this level, but I always try to be fair. I'm not being harsh on Blackpool to be harsh on Blackpool. If Blackpool were top of the league, like Stevenage, Blackpool will be getting nothing but praise on these shows. And I'm just saying, in my opinion, because I think Blackpool should be doing a lot better than they are. But Stockport, let's be honest about it. Huddersfield fans were feeling that they'd lost. Blackpool had lost. In reality, Stockport County are more settled and got a better, in my opinion, better identity, and they know what they're about. They've been together. Yeah. They've got a better manager than both. Obviously, Blackpool's as interim in Stephen Dobby, and Lee Grant's a newbie and stuff. But Stockport now won half the games since Challoner had his absolutely rollicking interview. Do you remember after Plymouth away where they lost 4-2? They've won 3, they've drawn 2. Now, the 2 draws were at home to Reading and Cardiff. They should have beaten Cardiff. They were unlucky. Now, all of a sudden, they're at 22 points from 12. They've only conceded 40. They're doing well. And Stockport won the first 3 games last year. And if you remember, they were a bit hit and miss after that. And around October, November, they were a bit poor. Then December came, and from January onwards, they were the 3rd best team in the division. After Wrexham and Birmingham, really, that I actually thought that obviously Birmingham towards the end when they got promoted, it came a bit flat, didn't it? But Stockport, and it says a lot about Stockport, and it considering about how much of a poor start they had in inverted commas when they just weren't on full cylinder. They weren't winning every week. They were just winning 1 every 2, weren't they? Or 1 every 2.5 games. Stockport County, in 2025, I've won 13 of their last 20 games, which is unbelievable. Bear in mind,
and we're saying that they're not fully clicked yet.
Exactly, and I still feel there's more to come from them, which is good. Exactly. They've lost 2 of those. Stockport have lost 2 games in the last 20, which is full testament. They lost the playoffs on penalty kicks, which is a lottery. Yeah. And then this year, yes, they've lost 2 games. They lost to Plymouth away 4-2. Every team in this league will have an off day. They lost to Bradford at home. Okay, Bradford City, they've only lost 1 themselves. They're a good side, and anything can happen on the night. Full testament to Stockport, who could have had more. Again, what the good thing is about this, don't you go there on Boxing Day this year?
Yeah.
So, take your flour, take your sugar, take your icing. That 10 is made for the British Bake Off. Sue, you're in there. That is Sue. Have you seen the away end?
I saw, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it? It just looks like the Great British Bake Off. Sue's going to be like, oh, I've got to bake for my GG. Got to bake for them. Get them away. Oh,
halfway through the show, 2 games out of 8 done. This is so well, isn't it?
And we were going to do 45 minutes.
Yeah, this is us. Right, should we move on?
Next game, again, there's some good wins in League One yesterday. I thought I'd go for Wigan against Wycombe. Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. Duff goes to Wigan twice in a month and wins. 4 wins in 6 for Michael Duff. And with his strike against Wigan Athletics yesterday, Wycombe Wanderers Sam Bell netted in successive EFL games for just the 2nd time in his career.
Oh, I told you, didn't I? I told you about Sam Bell.
Great win for the Chairboys, who seem to be finding some consistency at long last. Well, I say that. They've had 4 games. They've won 2. They've drawn 1. They've lost 1. It does sound a bit inconsistent now. But Wycombe are 19th, but they are only a win away from being in the top 12, potentially. Obviously, there's a lot of teams above them, but a couple of wins for the Chairboys, all of a sudden, things look slightly differently. And it feels like they're going back to the strengths a little bit, Jake.
Yeah, they are. Whether this actually qualified as a game of football, I don't know. It felt more like a game of rugby.
Oh, we're not talking about Fleetwood Harrogate now, mate.
Yeah, no, I know. This felt like a game of rugby, a game of really few chances. There was the goal which comes from Sam Bell, who I told you about. When did I tell you about him? On Friday. It feels like forever ago since I told you about him, but he's a very, very good player. They had a couple of chances. Sam Tickle made a couple of saves. Wycombe put a couple wide. I know one. They had a chance at this square that they missed. They had opportunities, and maybe just Michael Duff's got Wigan's number a little bit. But yeah, I thought it was a good perfect away performance. 1-0 away from home, absolutely perfect. Got the goal when they needed to. Wigan had a massive chance right at the end with, I think it was Dara Costello that was running in. Massive save from Will Norris, who's been reinstalled back into the lineup since Michael Duff's come in and ahead of the new signing, Van Sassing goal, that the other lad, the foreigner that's come in. So, yeah, I thought it was a poor game of football, and Wycombe took their big chance, and Wigan didn't, and that pretty much epitomised it. It wasn't the free-flowing football that I expected to see from Wigan Athletic under Ryan Lowe. And, sometimes you're not going to get those games, are you? You are going to have off days. And unfortunately, we're going to have quite a bit of an off period rather than just the odd off day. So, but yeah, Wycombe took the chance. Fair play. Michael Duff got in there. He's gone in there and made an impact, I think. I think he's definitely made more of an impact going in than what Michael Dodds did 12 months ago. And I think he's working with a worse team. So I think that tells you, it gives a massive testament to the manager and how good he is. So, yes, that was pretty much this game summed up.
Noel Hunt's been in trouble, hasn't he, with 2 points less than Ryan Lowe's Wigan with a game in hand. And you look at it now, they've lost 3 of the last 4, and performances in the ethos around the football club doesn't even seem when they lose, they're going to bounce back the next week. Ryan Lowe's saying top 6 and laughed at it, that it was never going to happen, which the honesty is there, and I think that Wigan fans would be dreaming of that. But football's there to dream. You want those expectations. And now all of a sudden fans are like, well, why should I go? If we're not going to do this, why should I go? Tell me that, don't false promise, but tell me that we're on a journey there. And yes, it comes a cliche, but you want to be installed. And I think Ryan Lowe, when it goes bad, typical Scouse thing, he was the same at Preston, where it's like, he got on the fans' back a little bit, and there's a few boos yesterday, which wasn't pretty reading. But just 3 wins, 5 defeats now, and again they are going through a tough period at this moment in time. And some big games coming up: Port Vale at home on Saturday, followed by a trip to Mansfield, Exeter away, Reading at home. Those 4 games, you've got to target points. At Wigan, if you don't want to get in the playoffs, should be at least a top 10, top 12. That's where you're in football for me, and it's got to be done. We will move on, and now we will give it the attention it deserves. Burton Albion 3, Bolton 0. First winning 7 for Albion over Bolton Wanderers. Bolton, though, no wins in 9 league away games. They're 5th defeat in this spell. Their longest run away from home, with 12 games between November 19 and September 2020, when Bolton were really in the shenanigans of the mess. But XG Beasley, whatever you want to call him.
No, XGeesley.
Yeah, whatever you want to call him. He could have had a hat-trick where he poked it past keeper and the defender got it off the line. I went a bit northern. I poked it past keeper. What a win for Burton. What a week and a half, 11 days for the Brewers. Winning away at Cardiff, winning at home to Bolton, point on the road at Doncaster. Before this, he only had 2 points from the previous 7, and then 7 points from the last 3. Football can change, can't it? We will get to the statement in a minute as well.
Football, the one that I still haven't read yet.
I've read it.
Oh, I'm glad someone took the time to read it, mate. Because it certainly wasn't on
Can
my
I just say, right? Just say yes or no. Did you expect this win? Did you expect how much percent would you say that you thought Burton would beat Bolton? Because I didn't.
4.
What about if Bolton had the internationals? Do you still think they would have beaten them with or without the internationals?
And about
a bit of I've got a statement here that I'd just like to read you to everyone. So Jake Tong, okay, before the game, I think Bolton would beat Burton Albion without their internationals, to be fair.
And did you think that?
Yeah.
Huh? Did you think that?
No, I thought Ex-Cheesley would score.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tricky
Really
out,
interesting. Yeah. Well. Typical Ben Natman, that is, by the way. Yeah, look, sometimes the pub teams have to win, don't they? I said this to you yesterday, mate. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they have got to win.
Against the other pub team.
Exactly. Every dog and duck's got its day, eventually. Yeah, no, I think you do have to give credit to Burton. Like, as bad as Bolton were, and Bolton were bad. Bolton were, Jesus Christ, awful. They absolutely stanked the gaff out in this game. Despite having the possessions, the shots, double the touches in the opposition box, didn't really look like scoring once. I didn't think they didn't look like threatening at all. They had half chances. They had bits and bobs. They worked the ball away. And tell you what, Ben, this felt very similar to watching a game of Bolton under Ian Everett. Very similar, because a lot of touches around the box, a lot of possession, a lot of shots. Not a lot to do with it. Not a lot of gilt-edged opportunities. I think there's two things to that. That's Bolton being really poor, but I do think you have to add that Burton defensively have improved over the last couple of weeks, and it comes from that draw away at Huddersfield, where they kept a clean sheet and stopped their £85 million strike force, scoring a goal. But I think we've given him enough credit this year as well. Alex Hartridge has gone in there and made the world's difference to that back three. Jack Arm is a good left centre back, but I think he's probably better off played out further left as a wing back. Alex Hartridge, maybe not as mobile, but experience, know-how, that knowledge of how to get the better of a centre forward, just brings that calmness, passing ability. He's got the long throw. He's just a really, really decent addition, and he's exactly what they needed. You look at Delap in there, young lad, Godwin Malife, not exactly old himself, so to add that little bit of experience, I think you have to give credit, and to Brad Collins as well, who's in goal. And yeah, he's had to make a couple of really big saves for them since returning into the starting 11. But I think you do have to credit the back line, and they took the chances when they came, didn't they? The penalty, I don't know what Stephen Schumacher's moaning about. It's a definite penalty. There's a clear push in the back from the Bolton lad on Charlie Webster. They get given 9 times out of 10. And XG, he does what he does best. I think his second goal had an XG of 0.99, so he was never really going to miss. But I'm sure he could have tried. Maybe if he was in a Blackpool shirt, he maybe would have missed it, because that's just how his tenure went at Blackpool. And Tavares as well, getting a start this time and scoring a goal. Fair play to him. So, yeah, a really good win for Burton. Feels like they've turned a bit of a corner now, certainly. What's that, 12 points from 10 games, I want to say, that they've got.
11.
11 from 11 games.
3 wins, 3 draws, 5 defeats.
I think they're turning a bit of a corner now. And, you look at the bench yesterday is weak. That's the issue at Burton. Once you get a couple of injuries, you've got weak squad decks. You've got Williamson, Taroni, Kribali, Dudek, all youth academy graduates playing on the bench for the first
JJ
team.
McKinnon, the only decent one, you'd say.
Yeah, JJ Mack, he does all right.
Where's Anne-Marie at these days?
I don't know where Anne-Marie is, but speaking of the devil, he has actually just dropped me a message. So,
has he?
He has just dropped me a message. Yeah, I don't know what it says. I don't know if he's watching, but if he is, hello JJ, nice to see you, mate. I hope you're well. Good win for the Brewers, definitely.
One thing I think that needs to get mentioned, it's not been said. Liam Delap's block off the line, his clearance.
Liam Delap.
What?
Liam Delap. Didn't he play for Chelsea? Do you know Delap's? Eh? Sorry. Finn. That's it, mate.
Sorry, Finn. The 20-year-old just was tenacious enough to get it off the line.
All right, sure.
Gets it off the line and just so well. He was really good defending that when Dalby gets in. And there's a couple of opportunities for Bolton. Again, this is the issue with Bolton, that they are glorious when they have it, and At home, they're so effective at what they do. They're unbeaten. But away from home, 3 wins, 3 draws. You can rough and ready Bolton. You can get at them, and they're young and they're naive, and they're still waiting for something to happen for them, and they need to go and make something happen. And don't get me wrong, there is elements of their play, the quick football they played into, the wide areas, yesterday into Cozier, Dewberry, Morley and Simmons pulling the strings. It is going to happen eventually. And when it does, I think it really will click. I just think they're going through a period at this moment in time where they're not winning, and eventually that will turn. And they've just got this in them. I said that in my video on them. There is limits with this side. Schumacher, he's lost 13 games of 34. The Bolton fans are at him already. Well, they came in middle of the way through the year, end of last year, did they? And let's be honest about it. This is a young team. You look yesterday, Charmin Lowe hasn't looked convincing, but was a new signing. Conway and Christie came in this season. Johnson and Farino Joseph were there last year. The wingers, yesterday, was Sissoko and Cozier Dewberry were not there last year. Simmons and Morley, obviously, Morley was there the back end of last year after being on loan at Wycombe. Burstow and Dalby were not there last year. And then you just look for the team. It's new players, and these things take time. They're a young team. They are getting better, and they are having the moments. Bolton Wanderers, the expectation, sometimes you just got to realise you're in League One. Bolton are in League One. Bolton have been here for, 5 years now? At the end of the... Yeah, it's 5 years, isn't it? Because mid-table, 2 playoffs last year, mid-table, 5 years. And eventually it will get boring. It will take time. And Bolton will feel they've got every right to be at the top of the table, which is right. But at the end of the day, these players are League One. Bolton Wanderers' history and Bolton Wanderers where they've been before and the size of the football club don't count on the pitch. They don't. Those players on the pitch are in League One for a reason. And not all of them, there's not many, I would say, could play at a level above comfortably. There's a few, but not a lot of them. They don't stand out. And if they do want to go and stand out, they've got to go and do it on the football pitch. Let's be honest about it. Bolton, I've got a huge admiration for it, as everyone knows, and I am being a bit harsh on them, but they're nowhere near it right now. They aren't. And they are showing flashes of brilliance where you see it, but flashes isn't good enough, and you need to see a constant run now. Huddersfield away on Thursday is big. That's a big game for both managers, that. Lee Grant, Stephen Schumacher. Lee Grant started to come under pressure a little bit. Bolton, Stephen Schumacher started to come under pressure. And then Cardiff at home. Big game at home. Port Vale at home. And Stevenage and Bradford. They are tough games. They're not going to get any easier for Bolton. I think what it needs is a mega run now. A 4 or 5 game winning run, or go unbeaten for 8 or 9 games. Show some consistency, because at the moment, Bolton are sitting, 9th? I mean, they reflect that. But full credit must go to the home side that picked up 3 points. The statement, they lost £8 million, which isn't great from my experience. That's what Fleetwood did. We lost 9, I think, the year that we came down. And you try and run more sustainable. It's very hard to do that. And you will see the emphasis will be on keeping the club afloat and keeping, sustainable, where you lose focus on the pitch, where you're trying to draw back costings on the pitch, so you're off the pitch doing better financially, but then you suffer on the pitch that affect you financially.
Well, you've got to sell players. Burton have got to sell. The thing with Fleetwood, Ben, is you've always had a line of players to sell. Like, you think of players that you sold for big money. James Hill,
Jay Matete, Billy Krellin.
You've sold players. Burton are at the start.
You sold for a massive fee for a 16-year-old.
They've got to. Burton have now got to start, and they have started with Romain Brel going to Plymouth there, lol, to QPR. I know David would enjoy that one. And they will in the summer. They're probably going to have to sell Charlie Webster to try and cut that deficit at least in quarter. If they're going to get that much room, I don't know. So they just need to start investing in younger, brighter players like that, who they're going to sell for more money.
I agree, and I think some rookie decisions, and they are going to be battling, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the Pirelli over the next six to 8 months or so. Rotherham winning on the road, Jake, away at Sixfields. And
Christ.
What was your thoughts on this? Because Northampton, for me, Jake, have been this side that have been, they get points because how good defensively they've been. They've only scored 8 league goals in 11 games, and that's a worry for me. For me, I don't think it's fully sustainable for a club like Northampton. If you're a club like Cardiff or, a top end at this level where you've got the facilities to do it and the players to do it, I can see you doing it more often than not. But even them, I can't trust them every week. Northampton rely on basically scoring 1 or potentially 2 now and again and not conceding. And that is good. That's what you want to build on. But I worry for them as the season goes on and things happen against them. And because I think that Northampton will go through this period where they'll start conceding goals. I think that they went 5 clean sheets in 6, which is remarkable, deserves humongous credit, but it's not always going to be like that. I think they'll start conceding 1s and 2s. They'll draw 1-1s. They might find a way to win a game 2-1 or 1. Again, yesterday, the penalty kick, they scored it. Again, they're not really creating. Which had 1 shot on target, 3 shots, 42% of possession. Again, Rotherham weren't great. They had 2 shots on target. This just stunk of a bottom end League One tie. But to be fair to them, they got the first away win of the season, which was massive for them. But for Northampton, they've actually got points on the board. But I just worry, is it sustainable enough?
Yeah, I don't know with Northampton. They are one of those sides that they were without a couple of key players. Obviously, Ethan Wheatley, I think, have been called up for England, have been away with England. Forbes have been with Northern Ireland, so they were without some key players, admittedly. But yeah, I do agree. Kevin Nolan hasn't. The thing is, when you're Northampton, you can't play free-flowing, beautiful football in League One. You've got to be.
You've got to mix it up.
You've got to play the margins. You've got to take what you can, essentially, because you're coming up against teams every week who have significant bigger budgets than you. And I think to their credit, Ben, I think they have been very good this season. I think they've shocked a lot of teams. I think they've picked up some good results and played some pretty decent football. So I'm not going to jump on off the back of one game against Rotherham without a couple of key players. I think this Northampton team can be good enough. I think they just need to be coached to be good enough. Rotherham, I thought they took their 2 moments when they came. The free kick, which I think was a bit soft for the second goal, but you have to if you want to get awarded that, you've got to provide the quality, and they were able to do that yesterday, weren't they? Rafferty, Benson is coming back from injury now. He's a really big player for them. Was really good for Barnes at this level. So good win for Rotherham. Really good for them to finally get off the mark away from home. That was a worry because they went nearly 2 years without over 2 years without an away win, didn't they? And they went and won away.
They won away on Saturday for 3 years.
Yeah, they went away at Cambridge and won last year. Sam Nombe scored of his arse. So
late goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, last minute. A good win for Rotherham. Northampton, not root for concern yet, but it will come. It will creep up on you.
I think that the predictability, a bit like with Exeter, a bit like you can call it now. And at the moment, it feels very negative to say, and you feel like you've got an agenda, which I haven't. I just feel something. I say about Fleetwood all the time, so I've not gotten you ask Jake. I'm saying that Fleetwood are going to be found out. There's going to be some dark days, I think, ahead eventually this season. I do. But Northampton, I just feel that they look tight defensively, and it's a bit like Tranmere. I keep saying in Leeds, they were drawing game. They'll go on a bad run eventually because you can't keep. A bit like Burton, they were drawing a lot of games last year, 2-2, 3-3. I went, this won't keep happening. They'll probably stop scoring and they'll probably keep conceding. And again, the frustrating of a 1-0 defeat goes in, and it goes on and goes on. But huge credit to Sam Hoskins, 100th goal for the football club yesterday. And prior to that yesterday, Rotherham, 8 points in opening 10 games this season was the lowest tally of a season in the third tier since the 1996-1997 season. It's a bizarre one. 2 games left. Exeter 1, Reading 1. Chap Marriott, 5 goals in 5, 6 in 6. He scored in every game, including the cup game. For that man, first player since Noah Dicko to score in his first 5 goals.
Noah Dicko, what a player!
Yeah, did you have him at Lincoln?
No, Wolves. It was at Wolves.
Yeah, I watched him partly at somewhere else. I won't say where.
Somewhere else in Orange. Yeah. Salford.
What?
Salford. They
they're going to Oldham from Orange from next year. I think this sums up Reading, that they've drawn 5. They just can't get over. They're not far away from clicking, but I feel they are far away as well. It's like you feel close, but there's quite still a bit of way to go. Do you know what I mean? It feels like what I'd say is Reading are at mile 13 of a half mile. You feel like, you're just before halfway. You feel like you get into a landmark, but you're still a long way away from where you want to go. And that's another 30. You've still not hit your first destination, but you're trying to reach the second destination a little bit in front. For Exeter, I think any point that Exeter gets in this division normally is a good one, especially coming from behind, is a good point. And they got a good win last week. And this is what Exeter do. They seem to get their points together, don't they? And I think this is after their first draw of the season. They win one, then they'll lose one, then they'll win, and then they'll go on this run of losing 4 then they'll win maybe one, draw one, then win one, and then they'll go on a bad. And if you can pick, it doesn't matter how you pick up your points, just keep picking up the odd point. So don't lose. Type of game that a few weeks ago, Exeter had lost, but they found a way to get a point. And again, every point in this league for Exeter is a good one. 13 points. Just keep totting up, get to over 50 points and stay safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount to say about this game other than pretty much Jaden Wareham scoring against his old club, which I think his mum and dad enjoyed based off the TikTok last night. So, I agree with you on Reading. Ben, this is a game that you called pretty much spot on. You said Reading love a 1-1. They drew 1-1. I agree with everything you said about Exeter. They are a very patchy team, aren't they? They always have been since coming into this league. What is your head on your head for?
Nothing. Something's definitely not just happened in the darts.
Oh dear.
Missed the bullseye for a 9.
Oh dear. I think it's a better point for Exeter, isn't it? Because I think they'll have missions to try and get to 50 points as fast as possible. Whereas Reading, you'd imagine, are going to try and do something towards the top end of the league. I'm not sure how much longer Noel Hunt stays in a job. Obviously, the links with Matt Bloomfield will not go away as long as Rob Coig and Joe Jacobson are in positions of power at Reading. I think that's a pretty obvious thing to put together. But yeah, a good point for Exeter. They'll, Reading have just been very meh, haven't they, this season? And they continue to be. Exeter, much brighter over the last couple of weeks.
Wimbledon won, Port Vale won, Hackford, again, giving it a little bit of a large to his former employees. Again, a typical League One game of football, 2 late goals. It was a decent end-to-end game, to be fair. Port Vale had a good couple of chances in that first half, I thought, but didn't really make them count. And then Wimbledon grew into it before and after the break. And then Port Vale had the spell, and Wimbledon scored with their spell, and then allowed Vale back into the game. Devante Cole again. Again, there was stupid people criticising that signing, and I can't see why. It's a great signing. 4 goals and 6. No, honestly, since he's come in, he's been brilliant. He's been a breath of fresh air.
Stupid people.
It's a person.
Person.
13 years of age now. He's a goal scorer at the end of the day, and it's nice to see him back with a smile on his face. And again, a point affair. Again, good point in this for Vale. But for Wimbledon, 22 points from 12. They'll be disappointed with a point here. That's how far Wimbledon have come this year. It is their first draw, but they've got 22 points from their opening 12. That is, I would say, you maybe 2 points off there, potentially 3.
You are 2 points off to a game.
What?
You are 2
points.
No,
but I'm saying they are 2 points off being halfway there to safety, 48, 49. I think it could be, looking at it this year, it could be 50. It could be a little bit more this year. It really could. How tight it is. I know it was still early on, but 2 points separate Port Vale in 15th and Rotherham in 22nd. That says everything you need to know, isn't it? But they're nearly there. They are nearly there. For Port Vale, I think it's a great point.
It's a good point for Port Vale.
3 wins, 4 draws, 5 defeats. That's not a bad start for Vale.
Better teams than Port Vale have gone to Wimbledon and lost. So for them to...
Have they?
Yeah. Barnsley?
No. Yeah, but yeah. Rotherham.
Lincoln.
Yeah, Rotherham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else went there and lost?
Those pesky imps there, mate.
Can't see any now.
You can't see the team that's 6th?
Wickham went there as well.
6th? Team that's
and then obviously they beat the poorer sides that are having a fluky start to the season.
Oh, yeah. Well, Doncaster as well, yeah? Have they been there? You beat them. Better point for Vale given that Wimbledon's record. And I think you're right, Ben. The fact that Wimbledon were expecting to win this one, even though they finished behind Port Vale in the league last year, they've made a much better start. They're bright. And yeah, I mean, I think they'll be disappointed that they've not capitalised and gone to 24 points. Yeah, 2 late goals. Hackford, I've liked his inclusion. He's something different up the top end of the pitch from an Orsi and from a Matty Stevens, and Devante Cole just continues to prove doubters wrong. Great start to life at Port Vale. Let's see if we can keep it up. Shall we look at predictions?
Let's have a look. Please keep liking and subscribing, guys.
Okay.
We're very close to 18,100 subscribers.
We have 4 minutes and 15 seconds to run through predictions if we're doing a League One Power Hour. That's fine. Ben, 4 points this week. I got 2. Your correct score came in the Exeter Reading game. We got a fair few outcomes right.
So how many did you get?
2.
How many did I get?
4.
Oh, you know what? You know something? A bit like Exeter. I'm just ticking on those.
You're 11 in front at the minute. You're 11 in front.
Jake, that 30-point lead's got to be built up. I did my karaoke yesterday.
He did, and we won't show you because we're in a slight rush. But right, we'll start with you, Ben. Thursday night football, Huddersfield Town versus Bolton Wanderers.
What's the score altogether then?
78-67 to you.
So I'm 11 points in front.
At the minute, yeah, that's right.
I've got to build that 30-point gap up.
We've got 3.5 minutes.
Right, 2-1 Huddersfield.
Bolton won it last year, didn't they?
1-0 on the thingy's first game.
Derby, Stephen Derby.
Stephen Derby, what a legend.
Huddersfield Town 1, Bolton Wanderers 1, I think. The other early kickoff, Lincoln versus Stevenage. Really big game. Top end of League One class, as Farley been calling it, even though we're 6th. I'm going Lincoln City 1, Stevenage 1.
0-0.
Yeah, I can see that. Burton, Ben versus Peterborough United at the Pirelli.
2-1 Peterborough.
I was thinking 1. Yeah, I was thinking a goal deficit. I'll go Burton 2, Peterborough 1. I think they'll.
You think it's 2-1 as well, Peterborough?
Yeah, but I think I'll flip it and give Burton another win. Wigan versus Port Vale. So we play Port Vale. I'm going to go Wigan Athletic 1, Port Vale 2.
2-0 Wigan.
Fair enough. Stockport County versus Exeter City, Ben.
2-0 Stockport.
That is the most 2-0 Stockport game ever.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna have to go Stockport County 3, Exeter 0. So all in all, I hope you score an extra goal. Rotherham versus Leyton Orient. What have you gone for, Parma?
This just screams 2-1 Leyton Orient.
To me, I don't care. Me and Parmex are against each other. Rotherham United 2, Leyton Orient 0.
Do I? I just love him. I just love him every way.
You wait till next week.
I love the rivalry you've got out of absolutely nothing.
I'm going to give him a big old cuddle in a couple of weeks when I see him.
Oh, lovely. What's next?
Whatever you like, mate. Whatever you like. Rotherham Leyton. Oh, did you do your?
Yeah, I said 2-1.
Right. Okay. Was it you that went first or me? That was you.
I went first.
Plymouth Wimbledon. I'm going to go Argyle 2, Wimbledon 1.
2-0 Argyle. Been good lately.
Luton versus Mansfield Town, Ben.
Luton against Mansfield. I
know I'm going
2-1 Luton.
1-0 Luton. I'm going to.
You went 2-1 as well.
No, I wanted 1-0. Doncaster
1-0.
Donny versus Northampton. I'm going Donny 1, Cobblers 1.
2-1 Doncaster. They'll bounce back. Big game. That's a big game.
Cardiff City versus Reading.
Good decide who slides down. Cardiff City against what?
Reading.
3-1 Cardiff.
Yep.
You gonna go for that as well?
Yeah. I'll go Cardiff 2, Reading 0. Bradford versus Barnsley. I'm gonna go Bradford City 2, Barnsley 2.
Bradford 2, Barnsley 1.
You seen that? Look, Doncaster are going to beat Doncaster 1-0. You seen that?
They feel like Bradford have not played at home for years.
Because they missed one this weekend because some big club had international call-ups, mate. And finally, Wycombe versus Blackpool versus Wycombe, Ben, up the road from you.
2-1 Blackpool.
You predict Blackpool to win every single week. You absolute tangerine. Blackpool 1, Wycombe 0.
Okay.
There we go. Power hour. 20 seconds over. I apologise, people.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys. If you could like, subscribe. Thank you for sticking by me. Thank you for all the comments. All the best for my mother in hospital and all that. Thank you to Sue for joining and moderating as always. Thanks to David. Thanks to everyone that's come in. All the chats. Thank you to Charlie for all his help as always. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Jake. Thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Good to see you yesterday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you only 4 times in the next 7 days, hopefully. So,
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, I'll get away from you.
Yeah, there's a couple of videos with me and Jake. There's a members video you can go and watch now, and there's a main channel video out later in the week. There's a League 2 video out on Tuesday. Until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. A big over and out.
Up the League One. See you next week.
Go on then.
Kind of Gianluigi to pop in again. I'm not going to say it. I know David wants me to say it, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Bye all.